Hello again, welcome back to Algebra. Let's keep on going with our lessons here. Today's objective is to be able to solve quadratic equations by graphing. And today we need to talk about roots, zeros, and x-intercepts. Let's throw this through the magic tunnel here. And those are all terms used for solutions of a function. The solutions are the x values where the graph crosses the x-axis. A quadratic can have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. Once again, those are roots, zeros, and x-intercepts. And that's our definition. So we're going to draw an example of each, which we did do this the other day, so I'm going to be quick about it here today. Once again, you wanted to cross the x-axis. And something that would have 0 solutions would be something like this. Something that would have 1 solution would be something that comes down, touches our red line, and then comes back. Something that has 2 solutions might look like so. We did do this the other day, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it for you there. Our steps to graphing a parabola, once again, we have identify our A, B's, and C's. Determine whether it opens up or down. Figure out our axis of symmetry, finding our vertex, and finding our roots. So let's go ahead and look at this problem here. So we have that we have an equation, and I want to rewrite this so it's actually a little bit easier for us to see. If we go ahead and rewrite this as x squared, we have 0 b values, so we're going to say plus 0 x's minus 4. These are two of the same exact equations. You can actually put a 1 in front of that x squared as well if you'd like. So our a value is 1, our b value is 0, and our c value is negative 4. Now, to go ahead and do this, I'm going to actually go ahead and graph this on my calculator again to help myself out. And I'm going to type that equation in on my calculator. And once again, if you don't have a calculator, that is okay. I will help you with the numbers to use here. So we always want to start on our table with our vertex in the middle. So we're going to have 0, negative 4 is our vertex. And then negative 1, negative 3, negative 2, 0, 1, negative 3, and 2, 0. And the way I found that was if you look at the table, you'll notice that it goes negative 3, 0 that way, and it goes negative 3, 0 that way. So that is how you know you are at the vertex of your graph. So if you're ever stuck, you can scroll up and down on the table on your calculator. Now, what is the graph going to look like here? Well, it's pretty simple. All we're going to do is plot those points on our graph. So negative 2, 0 is right here. Negative 1, negative 3 is going to be right here. 0, negative 4. And then we just finish our table off there. Draw our parabola, and now we have our parabola. From here, it's pretty easy to answer most of our questions. This parabola obviously opens up. The width, we do not have to worry about that. The axis of symmetry, if we notice, that is always going to be our x value at our vertex, which in this case is x equals 0. Our vertex is always going to be in the middle of our table, so in this case it's going to be 0, negative 4. This graph has a lowest point, so it's going to have a minimum. Domain is always all real numbers. The range is going to be, in this case, this is our lowest value right here. So it's going to be y. And if you notice, everything is above that green line, so it's going to be greater than or equal to negative 4. The y-intercept here is always when your x value is 0, so it's going to take the form of 0, y. And in this case, that's going to be 0, negative 4. And our roots are where our y value is 0. So where y is equal to 0, and I have two roots here. They are at -2 and +2. And I just figured that out. You can either look at the table to figure that out, or the other option is that you can look at the graph, and you can see right there, -2. We have one more example, very similar to the last one. So the first thing I'm going to do is recognize my A, B, and my C values. So I have -1/2, -2, and -2. I'm going to go ahead and graph this thing on my calculator and look for my vertex. And I found that -2, 0 was actually going to be my vertex here because it is the same in both directions after that. So -2, 0, that is my vertex. And then I just go -3, -4, -1, 0. And I fill in using my calculator to help me out here. Now, before I do anything else, I'm actually going to go ahead and graph this thing. So I have -4, -2, -3, -0.5, -2, 0, -1, -0.5, and 0, -2. Go ahead and draw my parabola. This parabola, it's pretty easy to see that it actually opens down. The width, we do not have to worry about that. The axis of symmetry, that is always going to be where your graph is split in half perfectly. And we notice that happens at -2. So we're going to say x equals -2. The vertex, we already know that. That's going to be -2, 0. This graph has a highest point, so that's going to be a maximum. The domain is all real numbers. The range, in this case, our y value never gets above 0. It never gets above 0, so it's going to be y is less than or equal to 0. The y-intercept here, that is where our x value is equal to 0. So we would say that it is going to be 0, -2. The roots, if we notice, we only have our graph touching one time. That is right here where it's touching at. So it actually touches at -2 is the only spot that it touches at. That is it for our notes today. I will see you guys in a couple days.